everyone, happy holidays. It's Anna the Elf here delivering the final episode of Bants, Bikes and Being Female Season 2. I really hope that you've been enjoying it so far. I'm sad, I can't believe actually it's been coming to an end already, but don't you worry, it's going to be such a good show. We've got loads of fun and festive cheer and even some prize giveaways from our very lovely and very generous guests. So you should have got to know them a little bit by now. They've all got very different backgrounds within cycling and they've all got some really personal and special treats to give away. So make sure you stick around in today's show so you can get involved in that. Anyone watching who's got a Christmas hat on, who's got their tinsel up, do let us know in the comments how festive are you feeling. I've literally only got mine up in the last sort of 15 minutes, ready to go, nothing like last minute. Also, tonight, it is Break the Cycle Christmas Games. We have a massive Cycling UK support raising and awareness raising quiz and games with some amazing star cycling guests. Some of the biggest names in cycling are joining us this evening. So grab yourself a drink and make sure you do tune into that. Can't wait to see you there later on. But in the meantime, let's get going with Bants Bikes Being Female, the Christmas special. And we'll get our regular guests back onto the screen. Fran, why don't you join us? Hello. Hi, you're on mute and you've got some fox ears on.
Well, I realised I didn't have a Santa hat and you've all got headwear on. I thought it was this or a monkey hat, and I wore the monkey hat yesterday and received some comedy abuse for it on our Facebook group because it wasn't very festive. This isn't festive either, but I suppose it's more in tune with Ella Vixen.
It's definitely more in tune with Valley Vixen, but if anyone wants to give Fran abuse in the chat, go for it. Don't hold back. That's what we're here for. While she's giving advice, we'll give her abuse. But you do have your Christmas jumper on. Loving that.
Jumper.
And for those who don't know, I'm sure everyone knows you by now, but anyone tuning in for the first time, a little bit about who you are and maybe a bit of relevance to the Vixen ears as well.
Okay, well, the Vixen is, I work for Vela Vixen. So we are an online women's cycle retailer trying to be the one-stop shop for women for all your cycling gear. I'm a keen cyclist myself, have been for 25 odd years. Mountain biking and cyclocross are my main loves, but now I do a bit more road riding given I don't really live anywhere hilly, sadly.
Oh, Janet's just tuned in and she hasn't got any of her decorations up. And she's still writing her Christmas cards. Well, you want to get them out quick because I've heard that the post is a little bit stressful at the moment. Actually, how are you experiencing that at Valley Vixen, Fran?
Yeah, it's quite nuts. It's quite stressful. Things are taking considerably longer than normal. The Royal Mail are basically saying they're understaffed and because of social distancing rules, they just can't cope with the amount of posts they've got, sadly. But we are trying our best to get stuff out and then it's in the hands of the Royal Mail, so...
What can you do? Well, Janet, maybe it's time for you to get on your bike and cycle those Christmas cards around to all your friends and family, but keeping a safe distance, of course. Claire, she loves your foxes, prefers them to Santa hats.
Yes, winning.
All right, let's get Charline to join us. Hi, you're on mute. You're just taking the mick out of Fran.
Yeah, I just took the mick out of Fran for going. We've got a little private chat and we like a little miming here.
Well, we've got you on speaker now. We can hear you. You've got your hat on. Pleased to see it. Let us know a little bit about who you are, Charline.
Yes, so I'm an ex-professional cyclist. I've been to a couple of Commonwealth Games. I've done disciplines on the road and the track. I've done both sprinting and endurance on the track. And now I finished with my cycling professionally, and I am a sports coach in cycling and also online with some various different parts of fitness that can keep you healthy, such as HIIT training, which I absolutely love now. I've always been a fan of turbo intervals, by the way. I'm that kind of weirdo. I know, look at Anna's face. Oh gosh, do you guys not like the turbo? No.
Anyway, let's get our next guest on the screen, shall we? And we're welcoming Lorraine.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, happy Christmas. Nice to see you here. we've got you coming on later on this evening as well. Are you looking forward to Break the Cycle Christmas Games?
I am looking forward to Break the Cycle Christmas Games. Try saying that backwards, frontwards, and quite fast. But yeah, I think that'll be an absolute laugh. Folks, you need to get on top of it, and I would suggest after each round you have a mince pie challenge. That's what I would suggest.
Anyone who'd like to join in with the mince pie challenge, join Lorraine and I and other Star Cycling guests later for Break the Cycle Christmas Games at 7 p.m. Lorraine, what's your background in cycling?
So, like most folk, got into cycling as a kid. Did the rite of passage thing, learned to drive, but I carried on cycling when I went off to college and uni, commute, and cycle with a cycle club, a community cycle club. But I also, not this year, but I have done sportives, which are just long endurance rides of various different lengths, and it's a personal challenge. Really, it's not a race against anybody, just a personal challenge and something to kind of give you a goal to work towards. So that's kind of my background.
That's a good lead in, actually, because we're going to be talking a little bit about challenges and goal setting for later on, because it's been quite a reflective year. But let's get our Vicky on the screen and find out about more of our guests. Hi, Vicky. How you doing?
Hi, I'm really good, thank you. And I actually managed to unmute myself, so that's a win.
That puts you ahead of the quiz game that we've got going on later on in the show already. 1 point extra for Vicky.
I can give up for the rest of the day. It's fine. It's great to be here again. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us. And again, a little bit about you. What's your background in cycling, and what's your special particular experiences?
Yeah, so my background is like Lorraine. Started as a kid, as a youngster. It was essentially freedom, which is pretty potent when you have no other way of getting away from your family. So then I sort of went to uni and so on. And I recently, on holiday, probably about 6-7 years ago, got into mountain biking, and found I absolutely loved it. That adrenaline of the bike just sort of being loose underneath you was amazing, and not something that you really get to feel as sort of a parent or a mum or whatever, an older adult. So that was addictive. I then decided I was going back to work and trained as a bike mechanic. And since then, I've really just been exploring cycling as much as possible. I run Vicky Bikes, where I teach mechanics and try and encourage as many people as possible to learn about how to maintain their bikes and get out, so they don't have that fear, that sense of being limited by what might go wrong. And I suppose my real passion beyond that is inclusive cycling. So I did have a little helper with me who is gone now. But Cece, my daughter, has special needs. And for a long time, we couldn't cycle as a family. And that was a real sadness until lockdown. And I did up a pull-along trike, a disabled trike for her. And since then, we've just gone cycling as much as possible. We cycle with friends, and we found a local community with sort of a range of disabled bikes, or accessible bikes, I suppose is a better way of putting it. And so like tomorrow afternoon, we're going to go down and try out one of the trikes. And so, it's brilliant. So everyone on bikes is what I want.
Yes, well, that's precisely why we're so delighted to have you as one of our panelists, because here at Cycling UK, we're also great believers in trying to make cycling accessible to everyone. We really believe that the more people there are on bikes, the better the nation is that we're living in, and there should be no barriers to any of those marginalised groups. So trying to open that up, and we really appreciate your expertise. So thank you, Vicky. And finally, let's welcome Silvi onto the screen. Hello.
Hey guys.
Hey, how you doing? You're in competition with the reindeer horns there.
Yeah, I was like, 1 second. I was looking for this for ages, and then I was like, I'm gonna be so unique today. But you beat me to it, Vicky.
But at least it is on theme, Fran. Sorry. Silvi, tell us a little bit about your cycling background.
Right. So I am a BMX athlete, so BMX race athlete. I am involved in coaching as well. So I'm a BMX and cycling coach, and I do a lot of like women sessions and club sessions and outreach sessions with people in like the private areas. And I'm also a bike mechanic, and I work at Evans Cycles as well. So I do a bit of everything to do with bike, try to get myself hands-on with as much as I can. Yeah.
Excellent. Great. So as you can see, we've got a huge range of experts covering pretty much all the disciplines of cycling and everything that you need to know. And if you've been watching this series so far, you'll know that there's pretty much no rock left unturned when it comes to looking for cycling advice. I hope that everyone has picked up loads of useful advice and tips. And actually, we're going to be testing you guests on how much you've learned throughout the season as well, but a little bit later on. We do have some prizes coming up, though, thanks to many of your generosity. So I just want to give you a chance to tell the viewers what prizes could be won a little bit later on. We'll just go in order again. Fran, you're offering something very lovely.
Yes, we have got a fabulous Velo pack, which basically, if you're not sure what it is, it's a fully waterproof case. You can put your phone in it and it goes perfectly in your jersey pocket. But it's big enough for phone, keys, money, and a few other bits and pieces. But you'll get this one, which is Smiles Over Miles.
That's great. Thank you for that. I'll let you know how you could potentially win that later on. Charline, you're offering something super generous as well.
Yes, so recently I have been coaching a lot of athletes, but not cycling. Not cycling coaching specifically, more on the mobility side, so the recovery side and things like that. And so I am offering one of my classes as a prize, and that is one of my Power Your Range classes for someone to come and join the live Zooms that I do. So you can be anywhere in the UK and do it. But if you can't make the live times, you'll be able to catch up.
And it's a quick question for you, Charline. Why is mobility and stretching important for cyclists and their recovery?
Yes, so of course we all push ourselves to get stronger and faster on the bike, but whenever we train our muscles, we need to look after them the opposite way. So we need to rest, we need to recover them, we need to strengthen them. So basically what Power Your Range does is you don't need to be flexible to do it. Basically everyone's like, oh, I'm too flexible to do that. You know when someone says, do you want to do yoga? And they're like, no, too inflexible, too inflexible, don't talk to me. But basically, it is for everyone. So we work in your range. You might gain some range from it, so gain some flexibility from it if you need that. But if you're overly flexible, for example, people that are hypermobile or people that are very flexible like myself, like I started out before cycling. Before my cycling days, I was actually a gymnast, and you know, you're back in the day, you're pushed into all these different positions, so my ligaments are like crazy. So I actually have to find strength in these positions. So it's really, really good for time trialists, especially because you'll be able to get into a position on the bike and access all your muscles. So you'll be able to, yeah. Do you want, what is it? What is this a question for me, Fran?
Yeah, that sounds like I need that. As a typical cyclist, I am so inflexible. I can probably get my hands just past my knees, like halfway down my shins. I can't even reach my toe. Oh, it's dreadful. I could probably do a demo here, but I might put my back out at the same time.
So I think many cyclists would be well in need of a class like that. I've started to try and incorporate just a bit of a stretching routine into my life in general, because it's something I think we enjoy going out on our bikes so much for the pleasure of it. but sometimes we can forget about that it comes from you, a person, a body that does need looking after as well. So thanks for that prize. Again, I'll let you know how you could win that a little bit later on. Vicky, you're offering something very personal too.
Yeah, so I'm offering a Zoom session with me, a one-to-one, where we will basically learn how to do the safety check, which mechanics we call an M check. And it's a great way of assessing your bike, keeping an eye on everything to make sure it's running properly, nothing's going to fall off, come loose, and that you can do things like check your chain, so that before it costs too much money, before it gets too worn and you damage your cassette. So it's teaching somebody all those basics, which is basically the ground of any mechanics knowledge and any mechanics learning. So hopefully someone will really enjoy that.
It's an amazing prize, a really amazing prize, especially for someone starting out cycling. You know, that is fundamental knowledge on how to get the most out of your bike, isn't it? So anyone who'd love to win that, stay tuned, and we'll be getting onto that a little bit later on. And Silvi, you've got something amazing to give away, because you're like this rad racing BMXer. You're supported by brands. One of the brands that supports you for all the cool stuff that you do has been very generous.
Oh yeah, for sure. So one of the brands that has been very kind to give us a giveaway is Mucky. So this is like, you know, the cleaning products that we use for bikes, the ones that I basically use all the time, and I just can't swear by it. And they gave us some samples, and you can literally win yourself some cleaning samples, some for cleaning your bike, for cleaning your chain, and some lube to then add into that. And it's kind of like a pack that you can last you maybe like a winter or a little bit more until like the summer maybe. So
I would almost call it a lifetime supply, but maybe that's because I don't quite clean my bike as often as I could. But there's like a lot of bottles of each. It's fantastic prize. So thank you. So everyone, stay tuned and you find out how you can win those later on. But I want to have a little bit of a chat with our guests, but also with the audience. You know, this session, it's a little bit of fun. It's just a bit of chit chat, really, as we get to know each other and look back on a season and look back on a year. I saw in some magazine somewhere that apparently more people have spent more time reflecting this year than they normally do. So maybe we can tap into that as well. And it's been a funny year. It's been a funny year for everyone. But cycling has had a bit of a boom. What's been some of your favourite cycling memories, or highlight cycling memory of 2020 for you? So we'll speak to all our guests, but also audience, what's been your highlight memory? Just take a little moment to have that warm, fuzzy feeling and remember something really good about cycling this year. Off we go, Charline.
So this is, it's not really a memory, but it's just a feeling. And it's because I don't feel like I've had just one time that stuck out. So for me, it's just finding the love for commuting, because I just never thought I'd commute. I was like, nah, just get in my car, go to work, come back. And then I started just riding my bike to like my friends, or like to meet someone in the park or at the cafe or whatever. And then I was like, I'm just going to ride to work one day because it was a really nice day. And I just remember thinking, wow, like, I like this. I quite like this. And then I kept doing it. So that's my fondest memory, is basically when I realised that actually I really enjoy commuting to work, riding my bike to work and back.
Nice. And that is a big change for you, going from a professional cyclist to a commuter. So I can see why that is a big deal. And again, get your comments in. We'd love to hear from the audience about your favourite 2020 cycling memories. Silvi, what's been your best cycling memory this year?
That's a funny one. I think out of everything, I did a lot of riding, different riding, but the best thing was when we were in lockdown and the streets were super empty and you could go all the way to central London to find it completely empty, ride around, around the whole street, nothing, no cars, nothing. Like, it just felt like, oh my God, this is amazing. And, having to, wanting to do that almost like every day, like, with friends and families and with my partner, just kind of like, okay, like, let's grab the bike and let's go. And like having that motivation to go all the way down, then come all the way back. So kind of getting to know London a little bit more because of just riding around, just because the weather was so nice and because we could.
Yeah, that's a super, and it's like a once in a lifetime experience. And I'm hoping it's a once in a lifetime experience. Really. You don't want many more lockdowns, but to have had that experience, that's pretty unique.
Yeah, for sure.
Lorraine, what about you?
Similar to Silvi, up in Brom, I really enjoyed going and cycling around my local park because it felt like being a kid again, and that freedom that Vicky mentioned, I just felt free. I loved the sunshine on my face. I loved seeing the colors of the trees, of the flowers, the birds congregating in the park. So many birds. It felt like an episode of Hitchcock's Birds. You know what I mean? And I was kind of getting a bit freaked out. They were getting bigger. Every day I went, it was bigger and bigger crowd, as the birds took over. That's my biggest memory, just feeling free and enjoying the colours of spring, and being able to forget for a little while the horror that was kind of going on for many families.
I'm glad that you sort of brought it up. It has been, I keep saying it, a difficult time, and sometimes it's about finding joy within bleak times, isn't it? And the bike really can be a tool for doing that. And I love all this imagery that you lot are conjuring up as well. We're starting to get some comments in, so thank you to the audience who are getting involved. Nicola, her best memory was the first time she cycled into central London on her bike after shielding in isolation for 7 weeks. So, you've got to remember that some people didn't use that exercise get out card during the pandemic, during the height of lockdown, actually stayed in. So that must have been an extremely liberating feeling. Here in Spain, we weren't allowed out for exercise either, and 7 weeks is a long time to be inside a house. And I love this one from Cara. Whoop whoop, realizing I am really not a roadie. I love mud and finding a partner in crime to enjoy adventures with. Yeah, I grew up as a roadie pretty much and doing cyclocross, but mostly road and track. And then it wasn't until I was a grown up that I wanted to go into the mud. I love it. I love it. Good one. Fran, best cycling memory 2020.
A bit like some of the others, there's not one major thing. I mean, I've had some wonderful adventures this probably spring, really, because the weather was pretty good in April and May when we were in proper lockdown. So me and my boyfriend had some wonderful adventures, just, going off riding, not stopping anywhere and all of that kind of stuff. But I think the thing probably for me actually was I've got some friends that were working from home and were actually struggling with the whole working from home and not having any interaction with people in an office, and because they live at home on their own. So I managed to persuade a few of them to join me on my morning commute. So we'd leave at 6:30 and we would all ride my direction to work, and then halfway they would peel off and go home. So I'd ride an hour to work, they'd do an hour loop, but we basically got to ride together for 30 minutes. And it was obviously one of the few times you could see people. So you were getting, I was getting to meet friends outside. They were then getting home and having a really productive day at work. And it was so good. There was one day where 4 of us, it was before this second lockdown came actually, 4 of us went out because we knew lockdown was coming. We started riding to work. The sun was coming up and it was amazing. So we said, let's go over Brill, which is a hill with this amazing windmill. And it was a friend's 50th birthday. So we rode to the top of the windmill, and then we Facebook Lived us singing happy birthday from the top.
Oh!
So then they were really late, so they had to smash it home to get back to work on time. That's probably my kind of fondest memory, really, of, a bit of fun and games with friends. It's a bit different as well.
Brill Hill with a windmill. Love it.
It's famous. Whenever you watch South Today, as in the local news, you always see these amazing pictures of Brill.
Like it. Thank you. And to the audience as well, Tata, actually, because of the pandemic, it got her back into cycling, to exercise during lockdown. And it's the best thing she's ever done for herself. No more public transport and exercise. And I think you're joined by a lot of people, Tata. We've seen thousands more people take to the streets because the conditions have been that attractive to people. And they're like we all say here on this panel, once you start getting into it, it does take over and you just love it. And I see what Sarah says, after more than 50 years of riding only single slow speed, I bought a mountain bike with gears. Yes, back onto the mountain bike gang. Love it. And it's been a real eye-opener. Vicky, finally to you. What's been your favourite 2020 cycling memory? And the audience, please keep them coming. I'm loving seeing these. We all are.
So I'm going to be slightly greedy and have two. Obviously, it's got to be cycling with Cici. It's just been brilliant. I love it. The comments she gives me, and things like saying, "I've got my mojo, mummy," and lots of "I love you" and things like that. So it's just brilliant.
And how? Just to remind us, how do you cycle with Cici?
So I have a Trek hybrid, which actually is part of my second memory, but and I have what's called a Mission Cycles piggyback trike. So a lot of people now are used to seeing those sort of single wheel piggyback bicycles that sort of, I suppose, 7, 8, 9-year-old kids would use, and you basically attach it with a bracket onto the seat post of your bike. But for Cici, it's essentially like a tricycle, so she's got the stability. It does have a trunk set up on it, so I could strap her in, but she doesn't need to. But the best thing it has is these weighted pedals with cages on, so that they're always in the right position for her to just slot her feet into
and I'd love
easily.
to from the audience as well. Is there anyone here listening and watching that doesn't use sort of a standard bicycle? So when I say standard, I mean a road bike, a hybrid, a mountain bike, but anyone who's maybe tried an e-bike or a tricycle or these recumbents, penny farthings, would love to hear anyone who's watching who's using a slightly different type of bike and how accessible it is for them. Vicky, go on. I'll let you have your second memory then.
Well, my second one is well, first of all, I just want to say there's a woman on Cycling UK Women Facebook group has the most beautiful red tricycle. It's absolutely gorgeous. So my second one, so with the hybrid, when I built it up, it was just before I was going to France to work in the Alps for Maxi Avalanche, and each year we always cycle up the Alpe d'Huez road climb, and this year I took my hybrid because I just wanted to show that I wanted to see if I could do it, basically. And actually it was so liberating. Cycling a bike that's not designed to do the cycling you're doing is fantastic. It takes all the pressure off, and it just reminds you that actually at the end of the day you can do pretty much anything with any bike. So just get on it and just give it a go.
Get on your bike. Yeah. You're not the only one. Claire, she says her mum's got a Mission trike too and loved it. So pretty popular.
Yeah, Claire is actually a friend of mine, and we were trying to get together to cycle, all of us together, but it's going to have to wait till things calm down. But I can't wait to cycle with her.
Cool. Right. The time is just flying by. It always does with you lot, and especially with the audience getting so involved as well. I'm going to move on to looking forward. So we've had a little quick look back at 2020. So I think goal setting can be really motivating when it comes to cycling, especially as we've talked about in some of the episodes this season, when it's been miserable, when it's raining. Having some goals can be really, really motivating. What are you guys looking forward to cycling wise for 2021? And again, this question's open to the audience. It's not just us talking. It's way better when you lot get involved. 2021, what's everyone thinking? Charline?
Yeah, so next year, this year I've basically found the love for Scotland. I do love Scotland, but it's just the weather, right? But anyway, I get out in the horrible weather now. It's normal. and I've kind of got over that 30 odd years later. But next year, when it gets nicer, I would love to go and maybe do part of the North Coast 500, because I've done part of it in a car. I did a part of it this year in a car, and then last year as well. And the west coast of Scotland and going up there, it's just absolutely spectacular. You've got like the white sand beaches, the turquoise sea. It's amazing. You're not guaranteed weather even in summer, but at least it's not going to be freezing. So that's a goal for me next year, is to train, not too hard, but train enough so that I can enjoy that.
It's making me think of. Oh, sorry.
Maybe rope a few of you in.
Oh, I'd be up for it. But what I really want to do is the Great North Trail. So Cycling UK has connected this 800-kilometre route from the north of England all the way up to the top points of Scotland, and it's all off road. It's completely traffic free. It's super popular since it's been launched. So anyone who wants to check out the Great North Trail, do that. And let's try and create a ride where we all go and do that. I'm so down for it. And like I say, you can't guarantee the weather. I think everyone knows that about Scotland anyway, Charline. You're not breaking any news there. We're all right with that. Who else was looking forward to Cycling Goals 2021? Vicky?
Oh, failed on the microphone. So well, apart from obviously sort of doing more cycling with families, getting more families out cycling with youngsters with additional needs, I'm going to cycle around Mont Blanc with a friend of mine. So it's something that I've wanted to do since I supported my brother-in-law who ran it, and we're going to go and cycle the Tour de Mont Blanc. So that'll be amazing. Yeah,
excellent. Well, fingers crossed for travel restrictions being lifted. Yeah.
It's interesting. You can't do it till September because of all the people walking it, because of the snow and things. There's actually a really tiny window when you can cycle. So we're it's another friend of mine who's a mum with busy family life, and we just want to go out and have an adventure really, and get it done.
Fingers crossed. Silvi, do you have any particularly BMX inspired goals?
So, it's a funny one because, this year all of my season was cancelled and there was no racing. So there was a lot of time for me to almost like find myself again in the cycling kind of vibe and willingness, like trying different things because there's no pressure of having to train all the time. And then being even better on my bike and wanting to train now, whereas before it felt like more like a chore type of thing. So for me, it's kind of like, okay, so if the season is on, to race, obviously, to train for that, but also to give myself time to do the other things that I enjoy doing this year. So for example, more mountain biking, more street riding. If there's like a competition for 4-cross and it clashes with a BMX race, let's go to the 4-cross one. Let's go to something else. Let's change things, like let's go to the things that you want to do. Don't get stuck in this one cycle. Whereas, you can experience so many other things that are amazing, in the cycling community that I don't have to stick so much into one thing. And I think that's the thing that, this year has taught me the most, that, I can get almost the same joy doing other things, or even more joy doing other things. So I'm going to make sure that I stick to that I carry on riding every sort of bike that I can. For example, commuting to work as much as I can on my bike, not taking the underground or the bus or anything like that. Just because I'm tired and I'm training, whatever, like I can get lazy and give myself excuses. So, more about enjoying myself. Everything that makes me happy, I'm going to do. So, I
think it's a really important message there that a lot of us can relate to. And I think it was Nicola in the audience earlier who said that she's got into cycling and got hooked again. And it can happen so often. Once you start it, you love it, but then you can quite easily go down a bit of a tunnel where you're a bit blinkered and you think training, stats, Strava, heart rate, equipment, and all these things. And then before you know it, you suddenly forget that the reason you started this in the first place is because it's fun and we enjoy it. And that is, I think that's a really powerful message there. Thank you, Silvi.
Yeah.
Fran, what are you looking forward to 2021?
Well, I had loads of things planned for this year, and it was rare to plan lots of things. And we had loads of events planned, and they've all been cancelled and bumped. So I have got a couple of gravel races I'm doing. So Grit Fest and Grinduro. I'm also doing a 4-day mountain bike stage race in Belgium. But the big thing I'm doing is an event called the English pronounce it Haute Route, but I think it's actually Haute Route, which is a 7-day basically ride around some of the world famous cycling destinations in Europe. So we're doing the 7-day Alps, which is 7 days with some insane amounts of distance and elevation. So stage 4, which is the Queen stage, is around the Telegraph, the Galibier, and the Seren. So I will be on my bike next year.
Epic for sure. And Justine says that they're hoping to get back to some non-UK cycling holidays as well. Anyone who fancies hitting up southern Spain, by the way, give me a shout. I'm your girl. We'll go for a ride together. I'm always looking for cyclists to hang out with. Maybe you lot can come visit me out here. That would be nice. And Claire says that 2021, she just wants to get back to cycling any way that she can, and recovering from a hip fracture. So best of luck with that recovery. I know that can be very painful, but I also know many people have had a lot of success recovering from that. So hopefully it's not too complicated. And good luck in the Tour of Cambridge as well. I'd love to hear if you've done anything like that before either, and how you're training for it as well. Lorraine, 2021
will be about building up my miles. I still intend to do 100. For the benefit of people who don't know, 100 miles in cycling is equivalent to the doing a marathon if you're a runner. And that's the goal that I've got, that I'd still want to do. So I'd want to build up miles to do that and get back into some sportives, really. So building up the miles.
Excellent. You've mentioned that one before, so it's really wormed its way into your head. So best of luck with that, and we'll be following to see how you get on. Right, next part of the show, and this is something where people could maybe potentially win one of those wonderful prizes that you talked about earlier on, but it does mean that you lot are getting put in the firing line. You're under the gun. We are doing a test to find out how much you have learned being here on Bants Bikes and being female. I mean, I know that you are the experts, but because you've all got different experiences, I think that not only have we managed to impart knowledge onto people getting into cycling, we've also learned quite a lot from each other. So let's find out how much you've been listening to your peers. So the way it goes is this. I ask one of you a question. I tell you who I'm asking it to, and you have to try and give the answer. Some of the questions have prizes attached to them. I'll make it really clear when it's that question. And we are going to start, and also want the audience to get involved as well. So we're going to start with Charline. Now, Charline, this first question is a prize winning question. So very, very quickly, can you remind people what they can win? Maybe producer Nick can pop it up on the screen as well. Yeah.
From me.
Yeah.
What they can win from me. From me, you can win a Power Range mobility class to do in your own time or live with me. Yes, all for your mobility, stretching, gaining strength in your range.
Excellent.
And yes,
cool. So the question to win this prize. Now, Charline, don't look in the comments because we need the audience answering in the comments, but there's a bit of a time delay, so that's fine. You probably shouldn't be able to anyway, even if you did want to cheat. Charline, your question is, and to the audience as well, name 5 route planning options.
Right. Strava, Google Maps, Kaboo. Camu.
Can we give her that?
What was it called?
We'll give her, You
Yeah,
guys
that's like
decide
a
What
hello.
was that last time?
called Kamut. We'll give it to you.
Kamut. A good old standard paper map and Garmin.
Well done. Well done. You struggled a bit. You did say kaboot. And by the way, I do need to remind everyone, if you get any of the answers wrong, we've got some dares that we're going to be dishing out to you as well. Great to the audience. Get those answers in, and you could win your Power Your Range class with Charline. We've got producer Hannah watching right now. She's going to pick out a name at random. I see there's a few correct answers coming in there. Well done, Charline. I thought it was going to be a hard one for you. Fran, where on the bike or the body is best for night riding with mountain bike lights?
Where I would say this is we could all have different opinions on this. I'm going to say on the helmet, because then the light is going where you look, and obviously if you're mountain biking properly, you should look around a corner. So do you like my movements here? This is my bike.
I do. But you did actually read a document about this, and it said on the helmet and on the handlebars. So what do you reckon? Shall we?
Made it sound like I only had one choice.
Shall we dole out a dare for Fran? Well, Lorraine's in a mean mood, so we're doling out your dare, Fran, for not getting it right enough. Your dare is on the screen now. To go for a cycle ride with all of your kit back to front. You have to send us a photo for proof. You've got until the 5th of January to do it.
That's going to be quite painful. Padded pants, padded cycling tights, back to front.
Can't wait to see it.
Oh, good God. Okay, I'm game. I'll provide you with a photo.
It wouldn't be a dare if it was easy. This is another one where people can win a prize. So audience, get your answers ready. This is Silvi's one. Silvi, remind people what they can win very, very quickly.
So you can win yourself some Mucky samples to clean your bike and to have your bike nicely well maintained. That could last you for summer, until summer maybe.
I think it would last a lot longer than that. There's a lot of goodies in that. It's a great bundle for someone to win. So try and get your answers in, get them right. Here is your question. Silvi, by law, what do you have to have on your bike to ride at night time?
So you should have reflectors, I think, on your bike for sure. And then lights.
What lights?
Front
what
lights
colour are your front lights and back lights?
So the front light is white and the back light is
fantastic.
Red.
It is. It's a front white light, back red light, and some reflectors on your pedals. By law, you have to have that. So the winner of that prize has to get all those three things in their answer. So producer Hannah, when you're picking out the prize, make sure that's what you're looking for. Vicky, give us 2 practical tips for helping to motivate yourself to get out and ride during the winter. So we threw loads of ideas around in this session.
Yeah, that almost makes it harder. There were so many brilliant ideas. Practical ones. So have your kit ready to go. So if you're going in the morning, have it ready. And I don't know if this counts as practical, but to tell yourself you don't have to go for that long. So it's a mental one, psychological, mental, isn't it? More than practical. Yeah. Oh, spend lots of money on gorgeous, lovely winter cycling gear, and then you just want to wear it. I seem to remember Fran saying something like that.
All right. We'll take that one. Lorraine, some people are looking for excuses not to ride in the winter. But sometimes there are genuine dangers, which means that a ride should be avoided. What are some of those real life dangers?
Ice, unless you have appropriate tires, but I would say ice, and I'd also say very heavy wind.
Yeah, fantastic. That's good. And another one that I had in there is if it's getting dark and you don't have lights, because often people get caught out in the winter.
Absolutely.
Charline, how many minutes should you spend cleaning your chain after a mucky ride?
None of you, Charline.
Silvi said it's 40, but that's just ridiculous. So we're going to go with how many minutes? How many minutes? I was listening. I just can't remember.
Right, you've got 5
Let's
seconds.
say
4, 3,
2
2. The official answer given by Silvi was you should spend around about 3 minutes cleaning your chain. You didn't. Charline, you were getting a dare. You were getting a dare. Your dare is coming up on the screen. This is your dare. I think this suits you. Take your bike apart, give it a clean and a re-grease of the bearings. We need photographs as proof. You've got until the 5th of January to do this.
A what?
If you've got any questions, you can ask Silvi or Vicky.
No, it doesn't say anything about bearings, but I will clean my bike. I'll do a time lapse, right?
Great.
The chain at least. That you know.
I'll clean it, I'll lube it. 3 minutes.
Okay, moving on. Fran, name 3 types of non-standard cycles that allow people with different bodies and abilities to ride where a normal bike isn't possible.
Trike, recumbent, tandem.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Silvi, what is... Oh, no. I'm such an idiot. What is a lobster glove?
She's not sure, though. She's not sure.
It's this thing that makes you look like this, right?
Yeah.
So you have the 2 fingers together for warmth.
Yeah, it's for warmth, but also to have
Dropping the mic.
the ability to use your brakes and change your gears. Vicky,
And also to live long and prosper, I gather. I'm doing that. You need to live long and prosper. I can't do it though.
live long and prosper.
I'm kind of struggling.
Here we go again. This is where we get the weird screenshots. Guys, this is another question that if you get it right in the audience, you could win a prize. It's Vicky's prize. Vicky, very quickly, a reminder of what people could win if they get this right.
So what you could win is a 1-to-1 session with me over Zoom, learning how to check your bike, do a safety check on your bike.
Fantastic. And the question is to the audience and to Vicky, what does the percentage of a hill mean?
It's the angle up from horizontal.
Okay, explain a little bit more. I mean, you're right.
So basically, so it gives you an idea. Is to give you an idea. To give you an idea of how much of an incline it's going to have or a decline. So we've got one near us, which is 20%, which is really horrible. Or they're sort of about 2% or 4%, but they'll tell you so that you know if they're going to be things going slowly on it, or if you have to be careful with your brakes going downhill. Is that any good?
I'm so failed. I mean, Lorraine's fallen asleep because she does not love maths. But I mean, you were on the right track. It's if you think of a hill as a triangle from the horizontal, it's the percentage of incline until it becomes a right angle at 90 degrees. So
Biker.
dare, you get a dare. You get a dare. It's coming up on the screen right now.
Oh, what's it going to be?
What's it gonna be? I know what it is. Right, so you and your daughter, you say that you like cycling around, you get a lot of attention, saying hello to people. I also know that you like making YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Because you do have a YouTube channel. So your dare is to go around with Cece on the back and you have to say Merry Christmas to every single person that you pass.
Oh,
Film it for proof.
Definitely. That. Oh, you know, I shouldn't be looking forward to doing that, but I can't wait. We're going Christmas Eve.
Charline's like, this isn't fair. I don't have to clean my bike.
Oh, yes. Brilliant.
Yes, Charline normally cleans her bike anyway because she's a good bike mechanic. Lorraine, what are the risks of using a jet spray to clean your bike with?
That you could completely destroy your bearings, getting water, and getting rid of all that beautiful grease that's in there.
That's it. Correct answer. Well done. Charline, what are Strava tiles?
Right. So Strava tiles are an area on a map and you can link them up and you can pick different ones to make up a route.
Well done. I knew you were listening. Again, I knew it wasn't going to be a question that you liked. This is another one that could win a prize. So audience, get ready. This is something you can win from Fran at Velo Vixen. Fran, quickly remind us what they can win. Oh, you're on mute, Fran.
Fail already. You can win a Velo pack as seen on the screen to hold your phone and your valuables whilst you're out riding, fully waterproof.
Excellent. So it's a bit of a descriptive one, this one, so people can put it into their own words. Get your answers, get your fingers ready on the keyboards. Why do cyclists always talk about layering in conversations about winter clothing? Why is it relevant to understand layering?
Is this for me?
For you, Fran.
Oh.
But it's also for the audience, so the audience can win your pack.
Wow. Why is it important to understand layering? Because you can have a horrendous ride if you don't get it right. If you either underdress or overdress, it can make you pretty darn miserable. So it's all about both your own, I suppose, happiness on a bike, but it's and comfort. So you want base layers that will wick the sweat away from your body, both in the summer and the winter. But in the winter, you're also going to want layers that are going to keep you warm and trap the warm air between the layers.
That's good. I'm liking some of the answers coming in as a particular. I mean, this is what I was really looking for, but I'm going to let you have this because you already got your dare. But Jules says it's because you can remove a layer if you get hot/cold. You know, rather than just going out with like one big fat ski jacket, as you've talked about in the past.
I've never done that though.
What,
it's a very valid point, but I've never gone out and removed layers. So
even removed an arm warmer or a leg warmer?
Oh, I suppose an arm warmer, yeah. But otherwise, bar arm warmers, yeah. But otherwise, I suppose I've been riding long enough. I always seem to manage to nail the layers. But yes, that is a very good point.
So I've just pressed a button here. Cool. Silvi, how should you adapt your tyre pressures for winter riding?
So, I mean, to be honest, like with the conversation that we had before, you shouldn't really have it like 100% to your maximum PSI. So listen up, Charline. So you want to have it a little bit lower than usual. You want to have it just a little bit. Normally you have it in a range. So you have the minimum and the maximum PSI. Normally you have it kind of in the middle. So maybe between the middle and the lower, but then you have to pump your tires more regularly because the air will escape. That will make your tires a little bit more grippy for the winter time because it's slippery and stuff. So yeah.
Fantastic, thank you. And have you told Cece about her dare? But anyway, Vicky, this question is for you. In the session with Rebecca Charlton, she gave us a message about guilt. What was that message all about?
So basically, it was to not beat yourself up about things, to not make it negative, and that actually, while some people sort of use guilt as a way of motivating themselves, actually it's quite a poisonous thing.
What about me?
What about you, Cece?
You had a dare for me.
Yes, we've got a dare to go out and on our cycle ride say Merry Christmas to as many people as possible and film it. Are we on for it? What do you think? You tell everyone that we're going to do that?
Yes.
Yes.
Can't wait to see it. And
Yeah.
final question to Lorraine. What is the fixed penalty fine for cycling without lights at night time in the UK?
I think it's 50 quid.
It is. It is. Oh, Fran, you look smug there. It is. It's £50 with the fixed penalty fine.
You want to 50 quid?
Fran, you get the dare.
30 quid when I was a police officer.
Oh, who agrees that we should give Fran Lorraine's dare?
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
Fran, Lorraine, this one was specially crafted for you because I know that you've been setting yourself some fitness challenges for 2021, but we can hand it over to Fran instead. It's on the screen for you.
Oh.
You're going to join one of Charlene's most brutal classes. And we need to see a photo for proof, and we'll be checking with Charline as well to find out that you have taken on Lorraine's dare.
Look at her face. She's already plotting something evil.
Oh,
Maybe Lorraine can keep me company.
I am so happy I got the question right.
this is amazing.
I don't believe you. I'm running off to Google it. I don't believe you.
Okay, you get on Google. Everyone else who's been taking part in the games, well done. Producer Hannah will be picking out some winners, and some T's and C's about this competition are coming up. If you can click on the link if you want to find out the terms and conditions of the competition, please visit our website, and that's going to go in the comments as well. Silvi never actually got given her dare. Shall we give it to her anyway?
I'm a winner.
Yeah.
I am a winner.
I mean, look, to make this fair, Silvi, we'll do a show of hands. Who thinks that Silvi should get her dare?
Charline should be putting like even the toes up.
Silvi, your dare is this. Fran and Charline have gone on and on about the benefits
How
of
am I supposed to
showers
show?
instead of needing to learn the art of layering for cycling in the winter. Apparently, it has loads of benefits. I'm not convinced. So your dare is to take a cold shower every single
I'm
day.
a chicken. I
And
don't like cold water in the winter. I'm
I
like,
don't like it. I mean,
I am very. I
Fran
don't
doesn't
get
like
cold
wearing her clothes
outside.
back to front, but she's going to have to.
Okay, fine. I will do that. For
Report
the
back.
greater good, I will do it.
But you don't have to take any photos, don't worry. We'll trust you and let us know how you got on.
The ice water.
Film it in a swimming cosy.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Uh,
Amazing. All right, guys, let's wrap this up because we're bang on time for finishing. But instead of finishing, let's quickly pick out some of the comments from the audience that have caught your eye. Obviously, we've got loads of answers that came in from the competition. So you might need to take a little bit of a scroll right up to the top there. And whoever puts their hand up first, we can go ahead with the comments so we can all go home and drink some mulled wine. And I'm just going to take a moment to remind everyone about the Christmas quiz this evening. It's going to be amazing. We've got a star guest and we've got Lorraine Dixon as our hilarious quiz master. So we know that it cannot go wrong. 7 o'clock. Make sure you tune in on the Cycling UK Facebook page. Fran, you're ready with your comment. Let's go.
Yes, my comments from Eileen Doherty, and it was all about motivation when you asked the motivation question. She says, arrange to go out with friends and get bullied into going out. But the pertinence of that is she's my friend. So I'm the one doing the bullying.
Well, she's the one that I'm going to ask if you actually went for a ride with your kit back to front then, isn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. She is the one that you can ask that to. She wants to ride tomorrow, but she's like, I only want to do an hour. And we're like, no, you're going to do 2.
Or she's going to be like, well, your kit's going to be back to front.
Yeah.
Lorraine, over to you.
Oh, I love this comment from Tracy Page about getting the chain checker out before you wash it, just in case you need a new chain and you don't need to wash it. I think that's genius.
There you go, Charline. Are you taking notes? You're taking notes. Your face is just amazing.
Seriously.
So good. Vicky, which comment have you pulled up?
Yeah, so mine is from Claire, and she says that she wants to enter an enduro rather than just marshalling them. And I'm slightly biased because I know Claire, but she has given so much time to marshalling and to helping the enduro circuit in the South Coast, and I think it'd be fantastic to see her actually racing as well. So it'd be brilliant.
Excellent.
Go Claire.
Yeah, those volunteers and marshals are unsung heroes for sure. All these events that we do, the sporties. So brilliant. Nice shout out there. Silvi, have you got a comment that you'd like to pull up?
Yeah, from Juice Christie about, I think we were talking about motivation, and then forgive me if I get it wrong. She said, leave the kit out the night before and arrange to meet up with a friend in order to actually get yourself riding and motivated. If you have everything ready, that's like kind of like about creating yourself habits to making it easy for you to actually go ahead with what you want to do. If you make things hard and difficult, you're probably gonna make excuses and call up your friend and be like, you know what, I don't even have my kit out, I don't know where my shoes are, I'm taking forever, and then you kind of give yourself some excuses. But whereas if you have everything ready and you have someone to hold you accountable, you're probably gonna get yourself through your goals and through what you want to do. So yeah,
very good practical advice, that one. Maybe that's one of the winners of the competition, but we'll find out. We'll be in touch with the winners of the competition. Our producer Hannah has been watching along, so she picked them out as they came through, so we'll drop you a message on Facebook shortly. So have you all given your comments? No, Charline, sorry. Sitting there with your face like thunder, I thought I'm a bit scared to talk to you. And you're on mute.
Absolutely. What am I like? 3 times. Things come in threes. Right, so I've got a comment. Sarah Jane, and you don't need to strip to your bra to get to the right clothing. I just think it's a great answer. That one made me laugh.
And on that note, I think we'll leave it at that. Not much more to say either for this episode or for this series. We are done. Season 2 is over. It's heartbreaking. It's sad. Hopefully we'll be back in the springtime for season 3. We'd love to hear from the audience if that's something that you'd like to watch. What other questions or topics you'd like addressed or answered. We'll be reading all those comments and trying to respond to that, trying to bring that advice to people that are starting cycling, and also bridge that gender gap in cycling as well. Because as you can see, there are so many awesome women riding all different types of bikes. There is no reason for more men to be cycling than women. And in the UK, we are committed to breaking down that gender gap. All right, everyone, thank you so much for your time throughout the series and through today's episode. Really looking forward to seeing your photos and your videos of your dares. Make sure they come in. You've got until January the 5th to complete them. Until then, hopefully we'll see you in another series. And bye to everyone in the audience as well. You've been fantastic.
Bye.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.